Okay, how many of you is using the telephone right now? Thank you for your data. Uh, uh, let's talking about the uncovering the spatial footprint of digital behavior. Uh, this is the agenda. I'm talking about how is the spatial nature of the telco data, and how the telco data is make spatial footprint for mobility inside, how we can detect the app use and make decisions with that use. First, I'm from Chile, the beginning of the war, and we are Entel, a leader telecommunication of Chile with 11 millions of telephone of 80 millions of people. We have 40% market share, and we collect daily 1 billion of interaction of the telephone in Chile. So privacy is the first step. We have local data protection in line with GDPR right here. That is very important. We always products always is anonymity and aggregate insights. So the spatial behavior is not static over time. Yeah, the people have a mobility strategy, and that mobility strategy is changed post-pandemic, is changed with digital platform. So how we can understand when people movement, where people when people live, no, where people travel on holidays, for example. So we collect the data, we collect the data in a big data, and then we make geoanalysis. What kind of geoanalysis? We have, we understand when the telephone stay in the night, and when stay during business hours, when travels for the interactions, and enrich data with socioeconomic information like income, gender, but most importantly, with the digital consumption. What that means? The first step is explain the expansion factor. What is expansion factor? Is how representative is our data? How many phones you have per people in a district area, in a zone, in a commune. That is very important for populational results. So this is our data. This is looks like. We don't georeference antennas. We don't use border noise or polygons of Thyssen. We georeference interaction by the intensity of the signal, like GPS. And what happened when I connect this interaction? Just raw data. This happened. This is Santiago of Chile. You can see here any different street in highway, in underground, metro for us, in CBD's business. This is the footprint of the spatial movement, the narrative of the movement. So, how we can build a floating population with this data? Of course, we have the antennas, and they build with that antennas, and we have the interaction. But this data is not perfect. Need statistical treatment and require correction and simplification. We combine this data with, for example, any geometries like census data or land use data or point of interest. For example, you can use H3 or census block. It doesn't matter. But the important thing is with that data, you can understand the floating population. That's why it's important and different from resident information. So here, in the dashed line, we have census data, okay? And census data is changed? No, because it's taken to each 10 years. But we have the mobility data, okay, with this time block. And we can see the floating population. This is Viña del Mar, it's a coastal city in Chile. The floating population in a linear time is the double of the census population. That is interesting to make a decision for business. That is very important for public policies. So, this is another case with mobility inside. How you can understand the mobility in the metro, in underground in Santiago. With map matching and spatial temporal tools, we can understand when the telephone enters in the station, move, and go up the station. So we can make a low profile of the line. That's very important for make public policy. That's very important for make business. So we have the mobility information with the interaction and the ping-pong effect. That is a characteristic of the telco data. And we build the state. What is the state? Is when a telephone permanency and stay in a spatio-temporal place, and we can trace the trip or the journey to a second state and build a journey. Okay, and we have, on the other hand, the other data. What is this? The consumption of the digital data, the apps, the browser, the URLs. So we have the use definition with the uploading, down, bytes, and the connection time. So if we have the mobility and we have the when the people use an app, we can understand any apps and when they use. And we can represent that market. And we can measure that market. That is a very good information for business. Can you measure that market? You can take decisions. So you can understand what is the relationship of the different markets. Okay? And not all the market is the same. Understand, for example, what is the pedestrian market or mobility market, and the application market, what is the coverage itinerary, for example. And other market like when the tyranny is the competition. And understand too, what is the users and the producers to different apps, and where they are, in what neighborhood, what is the shocks of the demand on the offer and the supply, okay? So this is the typical insight for mobility and telecommunication data, like potential expenditure, permanency in a point of interest, loyalty, which supermarket, grocery, I don't know, and time visit distribution. This is a typical information for telecommunication data, but we can measure then mobility feature at market. How many interactions in the day and what hour? What is the market share distribution in each neighborhood? And how many drivers I have in that neighborhood? I measure the market. It's just right here an example. We have bank, fintech, retail, last mile, etc. This is another example to fintech and bank, and this is very interesting. This means with which brand competed with other brands for the same customers. Can I detect my competition and my alliance with this information, and where they use it? And the other typical example of telecommunication data is how distributes billboards audience in a city. How many people passed by billboards. I pay for I'm paying, ¿no es cierto, for a fair price. Is my marketing spending correct? Where do my target audience? So, what kind of answers can we provide? Or what is the real question for this data? What people consume from where? Which app people use paying and where do they buy? How the people spend their time and which brand do you prefer? All telco data is geodata. So, with the data, can I make decision? What kind of decision? Business decision. I am Guardiola, and this is my game. Before the game, I have to make the strategy decisions. How and how with this data can I make a market analysis and trends? Can I make with this data, because I measure the market and forecast for income and sale? What is, for any neighborhood, my market expansion and my diversification strategy? With brands, I must make alliance. And when the game starts, and in the middle, in the second quarter of the year, what is tactics? Okay, the year starts. Okay, the market has spoke. So, how we optimize the marketing campaigns? How improve the customer relationship? We choose demand, super activation, and offer adaptation for that demand. Fast movement for change in a consumer behavior. It's relevant to mention with this data, we won 2 years ago France Edelman Award for the pandemic. And with this data and using Carto, when Carto doesn't have a time series, and we must make it, we we build a strategy to vaccination and mobility in Chile. Chile has the better results in the pandemic. Thank you very much.